Hi, attorney. Oh, he's awake. Okay, good. All right.
All right, public comment on matters not listed on the agenda.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a first.
Yeah, you thought. Deidre Irwin. I wondered what was going on with Whiskey Springs from Right Hand Canyon to the end. Nothing's been done, and that was talked about last October that it was going to get resurfaced. Massive pothole. I know everybody knew what was going on with that.
Any other public comment?
My name's Chris. I was looking over this, road work request report that you send out. Thank you for doing that. Just thinking like into the future, is there a plan to maybe touch every road a year, in a calendar year? I mean, we're basically done with this year, and I mean, we haven't, according to this, there's some road, we're less than 50% have been graded this year. So, I mean, just a thought, maybe we look at putting together a calendar where we're on a rotation and people would know when their road is gonna come up or possibly come up. Because waiting a year to get road work completed, I think is acceptable. And then on another note, is there an expectation by the board that road work gets done in an X defined amount of time? Because we submit a request, we get a response from the secretary, thank you, but then we sit and we sit and we sit and we sit and we talk about it, and then it never happens. Is there an expectation that, hey, this request came in, let's get it done, like, and move on? Like, I sometimes I feel like they get lost, and maybe that's on purpose, but that's all I had. Maybe we can look at that, and because I think a lot of times people would calm down if they just knew the status of their request. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
I'm Julie Donatelli, thank you. Just to piggyback back off of his comment, living out here since the 80s, one thing that I'm seeing from this board over and over and over again is that you guys are reactive with the road work instead of being proactive. So I think something like the calendar where people can see what's going to happen, I think might help the conversations that are happening on Facebook, the things that are happening in our community. I think if there was just some sort of information where we were a little bit more proactive instead of reactive, I think maybe that would help some of our community.
Any other public comment? All right. Okay, moving on to the approval of minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
Any public comment on the approval of minutes? No. I got a motion and a second on the minutes from last month. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. All right, review of bills and other financial matters, review of transactions report.
All right, on the transaction report, we did have the checks for Sierra SNC here, so they did cash those checks for the Pittsfield project. And then everything else was our typical monthly invoices. We did have our fourth quarter full pack payment for that. It was a little bit less than anticipated just on the payroll. Other than that, everything was about the same. We had 3 payrolls posted on this month as well.
I didn't see a pool pack. Maybe I'm missing.
It is on the second page and it is 4th up from the
It's right
bottom.
here from the bottom.
It says public agency compensation.
Oh, thanks. I was going on the last page. Thank you.
The last page is just the credit card transactions. You get the little, it starts to spread it out on the page there, so I just put a 3rd page for the details for the 2 credit card payments that we made. And then on the invoices pending approval this month, I do have listed the for the United Healthcare. They invoice us out at the renewal rate, and then whatever we decide tonight, depending on what the amount is, we either have a different invoice or a credit or an amount due to pay for the September invoice that will show up, but we will pay that $29.30. Other than that, there's nothing too crazy. We do have the annual QuickBooks subscription up for $999, and then we did make the extra payment on the credit card this month, so you see just a few transactions that are remaining over there.
Question on the credit card. Are we getting some points or credits or, thank you.
Okay, and then on the estimated net op report, this is the final report for the 24-25 fiscal year. So kind of gives us a lot more of the details on the average monthly expenses for the final half of August. I reduced that a little bit because we had the extra payroll. So instead of it being 15,000, it's only 9,500. You have the 13,000 for the well is still in the capital outlay, which will be getting the invoices for that soon. And then the 40,000 for the wayside, for the Amy, the Quickie Aspen project in the aggregate surfacing. And then all of the other payments have been made for those funds. So starting September, we'll have a new report.
And I received an email regarding the CTAX, the Consolidated Tax Distributions. And what happened was with their new system that they have installed, they're still having some issues, and they closed it out before we received all of the payments for last year. We're now starting on the new year. And so we should receive those. We should receive those by the end of August. We haven't received them yet, and it's the balance for last year. It's not part of the new year.
Payment adjustments.
Yeah, because they didn't get the final distribution.
Okay.
Okay.
Their system, they changed a new system back in January. It's been a mess. So you'll see, like right now, we were overall for last month, they only sent us for August. For the CTX, they sent us $30,000, and we usually get about 50. So we were about 19,000 short, and that is why right now on the August, it shows that we're negative. Just because.
I was gonna ask that question.
It's last week of August. is when they're anticipating.
Right, that's when, and it's September when the
It'll start,
taxes start coming in.
it'll start coming back. So we will get the
Cross your fingers.
difference. They say we will get the difference. That's what they say. Okay. That is it for those three reports.
Do we
Real
need
quick,
a, do we need to move them?
Yeah,
motion
let
on
me
that?
take
Okay.
public comment.
Okay.
Any public comment on any of the financial matters, those items? No? No? Any board discussion on those?
Quick question.
Go ahead.
I'm noticing we got a culvert. We bought a culvert. I'm not seeing it in our report. Western Nevada Supply.
It was on last
It was
month.
on last
It was
month.
720. It was on last month.
It was on last month for
Any other comments or questions? So I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. All righty. Judicial Government Affairs, we have nothing. Road reports, road operations and maintenance reports. Someone take that.
Well, I can tell you that it's hot and it's dry and the roads are actually holding together fairly well, a lot of them, but they are starting to come unraveled. We did have a couple of roads that we ended up cleaning up intersection at Amy Short there and Ironwood and Amy and Wilcox and Magnum trying to hold them together.
Those are call-ins, right? Somebody reported those?
No,
They-
no, I
you
just
just
knew they were
fixed it?
done. Yeah, I knew.
So you were
Because I got trucks
you were
with-
proactively looking at it? Okay. Just,
I don't do that.
I got one.
Anyway, if there's any questions, just let me know.
You had talked a number of years before, Sean, about putting a lot more water on the roads this time of year. Are we capable of doing that?
Technically,
Or
we're
is that
supposed
just,
to put mag,
is it just, it doesn't even work this time of year?
and we need mag. And we went through a season where I was by myself and you can't apply mag by yourself. I need a water truck in front of me. So, and then we were having
Do we have any mag left?
very little.
Okay.
I just used the rest on the intersections at Amy and then anyway. It needs to be done. Last year, we had a lot of concerns of people saying the mag was making the road slippery and we went through a dry winter, so I couldn't really.
It does.
It's gonna work. Out.
Oh, yeah, it,
So,
in some
but we
spots
need
where you
mags
don't have a
up here.
lot of thickness to it, it can get really slimy. In other places where we had a road depth that was decent, we had much less mag, stickiness for some reason. So it must have soaked
It
into
just depends on the
some of
road you're on.
things.
If you drive on Wilcox in the winter time, it doesn't really stick and after a bit, but now there hasn't been any mag for years. Except for what I just put down.
Okay,
So I think the mag would definitely tremendously help all the E roads. Yes,
and is, Amy, when you mag seal, or the one you chip sealed, still holding up?
I'm sorry, say that
Is
part. again.
Amy, the one you just chip sealed on the new projects,
Oh, yeah.
is it still
Yeah.
holding up?
Yep.
Looks okay?
Yeah.
All right.
The, polymer that,
Yeah.
you know, for the test,
Uh-huh.
they were shipping it on the 22nd. When was, is that today or?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, so that should be here within a week or two.
Copy. Cool. Thank you.
Good time to try it when you need some, you know.
Oh, you dug up another solution to put on the groves?
So,
Oh, nice.
Is it, a quick question, the recycled concrete base that we used on,
Bacon Ryan?
yeah, is that holding up? Not. I tried it the other day and it was,
Too crumbly?
no, it's too fine.
Okay,
It's almost, you might as well put Class C down, it's almost the same thing.
okay.
Well, this doesn't stick when it gets wet.
It doesn't
And that was
stick.
the problem with
It
the
doesn't.
residents said.
I started using it the other day. A buddy of mine, Rick Cormone, told me to give it a shot. It meets spec and I went back to type 2.
Yes.
And I think we moved away from it too, right?
Well, this
After
was
your
our,
test?
this
I
was
think
just a
we
test.
put-
Yeah, and we're not gonna,
Well, as far as I can tell, with 3,500 gallons of mag, and it still didn't hold, that's telling us that it's probably not
yeah,
gonna hold.
okay.
So,
Well,
it
we
was-
tried it,
Yeah.
yeah. And, that's so cool.
Are we gonna put type 2 on Quake and Aspen, or are we gonna use Class C?
No, it's classic.
Class C?
Yeah, we can't afford that.
I understand 3 miles is a lot.
2.
2 miles?
How high up is that going?
Well,
Well,
we're gonna get to that.
Got it.
We're gonna, coming up. Any other questions on the ops report? All right. Oh, any public comment? Go ahead. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let her read her public comment.
I have a public comment from John McClintock. He would like to put in a formal request for road base on Amy Road between Seth Lane and Pony Springs Road. He was not able to be here tonight, so he sent that.
Anything else, Robin? That was
That's all.
it? Okay. Public comment?
My name is Chris. We were hoping, since we're gonna have the equipment up on Quake and Aspen, that we could get some repair done from Ansari to Microwave. It's in real bad shape. It's washboarded really bad and, many rocks. We'd also like to offer up, some money for some BG. If we can get that put down, we are willing to offer up some of that. If we can get some help getting it put down, if that's something that can be discussed.
Right. Part of public comment. I'm just gonna go back on the record. We at the GID years and years ago discussed that very idea that people who wanted improvements done, say you want to put type 2 base on your road going to your house. The GID is willing to allow the individuals to pay for what we estimate is going to be and go ahead and do that. And it was wrote in a long time ago. And, I don't know if it's still part
So
of the
what is
rules.
that
or not.
process
They
like?
still operate that way.
It has, as far as I know, it has not been voted on to rescind.
So what?
It has not been voted on to rescind the
Okay,
resolution.
thank you.
So
So I thought that was a good
Remember-
idea. you
What
know?
does that process look like though? Do we?
Hold
you
on,
guys-
hold on. I think.
We
one,
can't do
we're
that.
gonna- We're
All
gonna,
I can do is go back on public comment and say,
we can confirm what
With
Greg
the-
just said.
Yeah.
With, the people that would know, which isn't me or you right now. And, I think the best thing to do would be, based on that public comment, is email Robin with whatever your idea is.
Does it need to be voted on at like a future meeting? Or we were hoping
Yeah.
since the equipment's gonna be up there, we can just knock it out.
that's a very good.
Well, it's, one, we can't vote on anything that's not on the agenda. And projects that are on our roads, that are a project more than maintenance or a resolution, has to come before the board discusses it, the scope of the work, if there's a cost to it, and then the board has to vote to approve it. And that's pretty much any road in the valley. It's above maintenance. So, we would have to agendize, from.
We were just looking at it
Just
from
tell me-
a cost,
tell me
from a
again.
cost perspective. You already got the equipment up there.
Tell me again the road,
We-
Quaking
we're-
Aspen
we're-
from,
From Ansari to Microwave.
yeah, so we would have to agendize that.
I want to, one more public comment. As a general improvement district, if there's any money that comes to us or any money that goes out, we need to okay it and approve it, so, for the board. So that's the hangup that you need to think about for the public to understand, okay?
So first things first, we need to email.
I would suggest that people email Robin with ideas like that, just to, start the ball. It's something that we know ahead of time, it can get on an agenda quicker. Because even though some people in the valley might not think so, this thing's rolling every day of the week. So we got people, doing stuff behind the scenes every day. Any other public comment?
May I?
State your name, please, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Lenore Doral. I live on some of you may have seen me in here before in years past. I usually come in and battle over the school bus. Now, this is a continuing school bus battle since 21. And I'm sure you guys still have this letter because you guys sent it to the school board and sent it to me the last time I was in here. So I'm sure I'll hand this to you. You guys can feel free to look at it, keep it if you like. It's a copy of what was sent to me the last time I came in. Now, as you guys are probably all aware, during COVID, the buses were placed on a COVID loop where they could not leave the pavement. At the end of COVID, they were supposed to return to their normal bus route. However, when you read that letter, the first paragraph says you have no authority over the bus route. The second paragraph says you would prefer they remain on the pavement. Now, the school district is still refusing to return the bus stops to where they were based upon that preference. So I'm coming to the board again, since this is mostly a brand new board, and you guys haven't really had to deal with me too much lately. Don't know me yet, but I'm still battling this. I haven't given up, so I've come back to the board. And it's not just for us. We live 6 miles away.
From the bus stop.
They expect this one right here to walk 6 miles to that bus stop in the dark, in the weather, with animals, whether they're somebody's dogs or the mountain lion that plagues our end of the valley. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want a 6-year-old walking that road.
You up the end of, are you up the end of Quaking Aspen?
We are up there past Quaking Aspen. We're up there off mid.
I know there's lines
Hilltop
up there.
Hill.
Yeah.
Now, in 21, that letter was drafted and sent to the district. That was actually a recent letter because they changed the first paragraph to let them know that there was a lady that came to the meeting. Lady was me. Now, I'm back here again because I'm still fighting this. They want this little one here and his high school brother to walk 6 miles. They catch 2 different buses, 2 different times. We're racking up 48 miles a day. Now, you guys build these roads. Us parents out here, and there's more than just us, there's 2 more out at least past us, one just in front of us, that drive almost exact same miles we do, in some cases a little bit more. 48 miles a day. That's gonna tear those roads to shreds, it's pouring my roads
Ma'am, I'm
to
gonna have to
shreds.
cut you off. The public comment's 3 minutes.
So be it. But
Thank
I'm
you for your-
coming in here and asking.
I appreciate it.
for
That's fine. Thank you for your public comment. Any other public comment?
Anyways, it's hard on all of the roads, whether it's my driveway,
Yes.
anybody else's road out here, to have parents on these roads trying to get these kids to the bus stop. And then barreling back. Yeah. Now, the school district can pay half of the mileage. It was suggested that I request the other half from you guys if you are going to continue to have that preference. Because it is a financial strain, not just for us, but for all the parents, not to mention a time-wise strain. So that's why I'm here. I'm putting this before the board. I'm asking, please, lift that preference. I don't want money. I want the buses back where they belong. But right now, if we have a vehicle failure, another one, I just had one. Done the one vehicle now. If that one fails, he's walking 6 miles to school just to catch the bus. So please.
Thank you for your public comment. Put that on the agenda next month. Right, Robert, you got that? Okay, any other public comment? Sir, I can only take so much public comment for a time. Any other public comment?
Peter Irwin, 2055 Paiute Creek. I go along with what she's saying. Because I'm transporting 2 middle schoolers twice a day down to 8. We could get the buses back. I rode these buses out here when I was in school. And they went all around the valley. COVID comes and it's dead end.
Any other public comment? All right.
Yep. There you go. Okay, public comment right there.
All righty, moving on to the wayside well repairs.
Okay, as far as that is concerned, it's in the, we ordered him 1 stick, a 21-foot piece. Okay, we're trying to time it to where have the well down for a bit, but we can't do it right now. So it will be done, and he's not billing us until it gets done.
Oh, cool. Any public comment on the wayside well? Any board discussion on the wayside well? All right, aggregate surfacing project, and at this time, I think we only have one. So what's up?
Technically, I've had the signs out, I was hoping, but it's just summertime and trucks are not very easy to get. As it stands right now, I do have them for Monday, but now we have to see about the weather. But it should still on for now.
And that's Quake and Aspen.
Yes,
All right.
or to O'Hara, 2 miles.
Any public comment on that? And that's our only project we have still outstanding, if you guys forgot. Any board discussion on the aggregate surfacing project?
I have had one of our constituents ask to bring the project not only from O'Hara, but up to Ansari as well. So is there any chance that we could get road base? I know we're supposed to be doing our own DG. Is that what's supposed to happen?
Yes. But it's not gonna be at the same time.
Just for clarification, Sean, because it's been so long and I forget. So you're currently going the 2 miles to O'Hara
with Class C.
with Class C. Did we, and you guys remind me too, okay?
The rest is the Ironwood pit material, which is done in-house.
And we approved that though.
Yes.
That's a project that'll be in the future as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
I have another question then. So since we're waiting on trucks to do the lower section of Quaking Aspen, can we get the project done
We are
above
waiting.
that?
It's gonna start Monday.
Okay, so if it doesn't start Monday, can we start on the upper portion with the DG?
It's too hard on vehicles to drive that road and when it comes to a semi.
Hence why we need to do that road.
Which is why it needs to start at the bottom and move up.
Any other board discussion? All right. Did I public comment on the aggregate if I forgot? Okay. Unfinished business. Palomino Farms update.
November 4th.
But they haven't that, so nothing concerning the G. Perfect. Cool. And I'm gonna make a suggestion, Greg. This is on here because I didn't want to upset you, because I said I'd put it on there.
Which one?
Palomino Farms. Okay, can we at least wait to bring that back until after there's actually a county meeting on it?
I think it's wise.
Thank you. Okay.
Put down November.
So we'll just
November.
continue that item to
November.
November meeting. Thank you.
Unless they on the planning commission meeting again.
Okay.
Thank you. Because they postponed it, what, like 4 times?
Yeah, they don't
Okay.
want to deal with it.
All right.
It costs too much.
Any public comment on the Palomino Farms update? No. All right, Whiskey Springs Bump, that was from last month, we moved it to this month. Board discussion on that?
You start, you're the one that
I'm the
started
one
it.
that
You
opened it
get to-
up, but I've
you
been,
get to take it up.
I've been bringing it up for 15 years.
Okay.
I did contact Full Pack. They're investigating it and they're supposed to get back with me on whether it's okay. They couldn't give me a decision.
Why did you want to contact
I
them? I'm curious.
wanted her to,
Oh, okay.
because a trustee is gonna use his company, even if it's pro bono, to work on
Oh,
our
that
road.
deal. All right. Okay.
Yes.
I got it.
Well, I was hoping they would come out and do it, but,
Offer still stands.
And,
still-
and before we move on from that, so it sounds like we got to hear back from your request.
Mhm.
Okay. And just, we can have a little discussion on it. I'm just gonna put myself out there and maybe upset you, Nevada, but
Oh, I don't.
honestly, I don't,
Won't upset me.
if we bring this back when we hear from, Pool Pact on the okay of it, like if it's, okay for us to do that. I really think, and when we bring this back, I would hope the board would think about this too. I really think that shouldn't be done until we do maintenance work on that road again. And that would be the time to do it. That's my only concern, because of the money we spent there. And the fact that this project was talked about since February on that stretch of road. And
I have one other comment.
Go ahead.
Lots of times when there's a sharp bump in the road, speed bumps essentially. There's 2 ways of dealing with that. You could just take some asphalt, and you have to prep the road for the chip seal or whatever it is,
Right,
so
exactly.
the asphalt will stick to it. And then you blade in asphalt right over the top. Essentially, you create a nice smooth surface over the top, and you never touch any of the road again. It's still there just the way we want it to be. And we just added asphalt, which isn't a huge amount of money, but actually goes a lot quicker because you're not digging things up and making a mess. So if we could maybe think about our operations manager to give that a little look and see what he thinks, please. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that idea.
If we can get it to bind.
Yeah, I understand. You might have to use special asphalt for it, but it's finer. You got chipped 3/8 instead of half.
3/8 wouldn't hold up.
You won't?
You know, you wanna type too,
All right.
so. I mean,
No, I'm not gonna disagree. That's fine.
it,
I mean,
Is that an idea? Is that
it's a great
okay?
idea. I mean, if we can make it work.
Okay, that's why I'm gonna ask him. You
It's a
figure it
pretty
out.
abrupt bump, but you know what? I mean,
You two communicate all the
I
time.
get a lot of complaints on it, so I just, would I like to see it fixed? Absolutely.
All right, that's one way to fix it.
Well, you guys do know that's the only thrill I have in my life anymore.
is that bump?
We'll keep it
I
then,
saw a guy in
okay?
a trailer catch
Just for
air
you.
yesterday on that thing.
We'll put a sign
Literally,
out there
I
that
watched
says,
that trailer come right
Marshall's
off.
bump.
It's far off that, so. Well, let's put it, let's
But we'll throw it
let's
back on there.
table it, put it
Until
on
we
down the
hear
road. I'm
from-
fine with that.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Table it till next week or next month.
Well,
We'll keep going table it until it gets
We're waiting to
fixed,
hear.
right?
yeah, once I hear back,
Yeah,
I'll let
'cause-
you know if they've said no, then I'll just put it on to say no. But
Yeah,
if they say
because
yes,
I'd like to
then
hear
I'll-
what Robin finds out.
But I do have 3 pavers, so I mean, it would be cheaper.
A whole lot easier. I thought,
Oh, I can do it. I mean,
that's what I thought.
I know, and I have no doubt you could. I just,
Don't
the
worry.
hairs on the back of my neck stand up
Right,
when I
no,
think
no,
about
no,
it.
that's
So,
We're
fine.
not making decisions now. Nope.
any public comment on the Whiskey Springs bump? All right, on to new business, review of the updated board members handbook. So I'm gonna just start this off and say that, I think it's been almost 2 years that I suggested that the board do this, and kind of take us into the next decade. Because this original one, I think, was done in 2010. And so at the point of July of last year, the board handbook has been worked on by the independent contractor, Kathy. And multiple times I've said, if you guys have ideas, just call or email Kathy and let her know what your ideas are, right? And if you wanted to see some changes or some additions or anything like that. So some people have done that. I worked with her a little bit throughout the process of her doing the work. And now we have an updated document. And what we have in front of the board tonight in a handout, or after seeing the updated document that Kathy completed, is really just some minor changes to the language, just little nuances that were in the update. And so my hope is that we go through these and see where people stand on these changes. I personally don't have a problem with any of them, because I think I suggested a couple. So, but I'd like to nail this down, because this is a resolution, this handbook. So I'd like to nail this down, the changes that we want now. So we have an updated, amended document in September that we can do a first reading, and then in October do a second reading, and then have this board handbook set in stone for our board and future boards. And understand, I want you guys to understand that the handbook is a guideline and a reference for the board. Some things are set in stone, like the president sets the agenda. Those are things that are set in stone. We're not going to deviate from that as a board. The president is the supervisor or the president's designee of the operations manager. Those are things that, in my mind, aren't flexible. But a lot of the handbook is meant to be flexible for the board and future boards as markets change, technology changes, different nuances that happen as time goes on. So I don't feel like you want the handbook in a lot of areas to be so rigid. You want some flexibility for our board and future boards, that they're not having to do a resolution on this handbook for another decade. So just approach it like that when you think about it. But I can't make you guys do it, but I'd like to see this thing done in second reading in October. And the reason for that is because part 2 of this handbook is gonna be the employee handbook, which I'm gonna work with Kathy on, and suggestions from the board and the public once we have the document ready. Which is gonna go over a lot of things pertaining to employees and just updating that handbook we have now. So first is a board handbook. Once this thing's set in stone and in the books, then we'll get the employee handbook done and do the same thing. Bring it to the board, make some changes, do 2 readings, and then we'll have a new board handbook, new employee handbook, all ready to go.
I just wanna emphasize the need for the flexibility, like you said, because that's what the board's for, you know? When we have a guideline down there and something comes up and if the board has flexibility to make a decision, and it's not, you know, like you said, chiseled in stone, maybe the document can last for a while.
It did for quite a while.
It did.
Yeah, so we're just updating. You know.
And I gotta tell you guys, the board handbook was pretty darn good. I mean, it needed updated to get to, you know, this from 2010 to 2025, of course, because NRS changed, you know, and open meeting laws have been updated, NRS statutes have been updated. So you want to reference those in the handbook, but overall, the handbook itself was set up pretty good, and it was pretty good guideline, especially for me when I was new on the board. So going to these changes that we have in front of us, what is there any angst from any board members about these changes here to the updated handbook?
I have a question for Mark. Mark, question for you. It says the open meeting laws and open meeting law manual are subject to change and often updated. My biggest question is, and I said this, I think with the other meetings, is the open meeting law is under NRS statutes. Do we even need that in our handbook? I mean, it's very specific on what we have to do and what we can't do. We get all the training from the pool pack and everything else. So I'm thinking, why do we need that? In other words, if you don't need it, why put it in there? Oh, can't hear you. You're off tune. Just a sec. Just a sec. She's putting you on voice now, I think, so we can hear you.
No, it was my fault. I was muted.
Okay.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. You have to follow the open meeting law, whether it's in the handbook or not, and it's going to change.
It's going to change every year with the state legislature. So why do we want it in our handbook?
Well, the reason it might be in your handbook is as a reference to yourself about.
Okay, in other words, one line that says we follow the open meeting law, period.
Right, but it doesn't tell you anything about the open meeting law. So.
You don't need to. It's part of a statute.
Well, do you read the statute once a week to figure it out? I'm just saying, you don't have to put it in there. But if it's a reference that will help board members understand the open meeting law without having to go look up a statute, I think it may be beneficial.
Okay, maybe we just need something that says open meeting law rules and
Right,
it
right
says
here.
typical handbook.
Right here.
There's a link,
Right here, Greg.
and
It's actually at the bottom of number 3, what you're requesting.
And Mark, would you recommend that the board take the training every year because of the changes?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe put that in the manual, that the training will be provided for the board.
Oh, that's a good question. Are we going to mandate the trustees have certain training?
No,
Okay.
But have it available once a year,
I'm
so
not
that,
approving that, not unless someone's giving me a paycheck. It's already in there.
I'll give you $2.
We referenced it, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
It's there, but it's not the way I like it. So yeah.
or maybe we can add the open meeting law that the
I just
training will
was,
be available to the board members once a year.
I just wanted, if you want to make a reminder to the board that, you know, got to follow the open
I don't-
meeting law, fine.
I mean, I don't think it's gotta be in the handbook. I mean, we can just remind the board like we've done, if somebody wants to go to the training and you set it up, they'll email you and they'll show up.
And once send them off to school, right?
Go ahead.
I would just point out, I think I heard someone say there's a link. This website, there is a document called the Open Meeting Law Manual. And if questions come up, you can always refer to that. It has written in plain English. It has tons of different scenarios that come up that need, you know, be addressed. So that would be a good reference to you also.
That's what's in here is that there's a.
So, if you guys are unaware, it's Phil and Greg, in the current updated handbook, instead of having a lot of verbiage of the open meeting law like the old handbook, Kathy streamlined it, and if you look on the bullet point number 3, it's on page 10 of the updated handbook. It has the open meeting law, NRS chapter 241, and the open meeting law manual linked to the Attorney General's office provided. So that will be in the handbook. So if you're going, hey, I wonder about that, you can just look in the handbook and click on the link because it'll be on PDF online.
Very good.
So, cool. Any other questions or concerns?
I do. I have some comments to make about number 1, 2, and 5. And we've been talking about flexibility. And I think that this language takes away our flexibility. I think that
Which one, Julie?
One,
changing the primary contact to a supervisor / single point of contact. This is basically telling me that I cannot contact the OM, and yet the rest of the handbook says that our constituents can contact the, kind of like the contract with our attorney, that only the president can contact the attorney with questions. The rest of us cannot. And so I think it's too specific. And I think if we're changing this into perpetuity, I think it needs to remain the way it is so that it is flexible.
pretty much the language is just updated to the current language.
Right, and the current language is single point of contact, which means that the rest of us cannot contact the OM, which means that if it's only the single point of contact, why would we have a 5-person board?
Actually, at number 2, I think there was Julie, the problem is for what you're looking for. If you look at the function of our board, we do not get involved into the day-to-day operation as a direct policy as a board. And it's practice that one trustee has contact, one elected trustee has contact and supervision over the operations manager. And the reason for that, because if 5 elected people are trying to tell the operations manager what to do, that's chaos. That's why one person does it. Now, the flexibility you're looking for comes in the checks and the balance of the closed session. Hiring or firing or all those things come under the power of the floor. But as far as having 5 trustees able to get in the ear of the operations manager over why aren't you doing that? Why was this road done this way? That's chaos. And we kind of got a taste of that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work.
But Sean can maybe answer this question. How many of us have called you, Sean?
Nobody.
Okay. So I think to keep our flexibility, we need to keep the more open language rather than locking it down. Because if we're going to make this handbook into perpetuity, the last handbook I have was from 2014. So an 11-year-old handbook, if we change it to this language, it's going to stay that way for the next 10 years.
Can I add?
And I
can
messed up. One has called me.
I'm sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, just saying one, I have heard from one.
Okay, so it's not all of us.
Um,
And I understand that we don't operate, we, the board, do not day-to-day operations. That's what Sean's job is. I understand that. And so we haven't been calling Sean to say, hey, there's a pothole over here. Can you take care of it today? Nobody's done that. I'm just giving us the option instead of locking us down. I'm trying to give us the option that if we have a concern or something we really need to talk to Sean
Hold
about,
on,
we
hold on.
can. And this language to me says we cannot.
And you, like I said, I think you still have that in number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's an emergency, you can call Sean if you see a washed out road or something that's gonna be, fatal or someone can get hurt. But if you have a question on the operations or the employees or anything like that, you call the designated trustee that's the OM supervisor. And then that trustee will deal with your concern with the OM. That way, he's not being bombarded by 5 elected people. I mean, I think the language is just a reiteration of what the current language is. And actually adding that bullet number 2 is above and beyond what the current language is.
I'd just like to add that effective organizations have a chain of command. And, you just have to do that. You can't have 10 bosses. You have one. And so if somebody wants to talk to, for the way it's set up now, Mr. Story here, you can call him and then he takes care of it. I mean, we can still have input, but you have to have a chain of command so people know, who they're.
And
who they're
primary
working for.
contact is chain of command.
Mhm.
Primary.
Well, I kind of agree with both sides because Julie, you got a really good idea. I used to call Sean all the time and what about this idea or that idea or get feedback on stuff. And I never talked to Larry Johnson about it. I just called Sean up and said, what do you think about this? So there's things that I don't do, which is when he was under somebody else. Go do that. No, I can't tell him to do that. Everybody knows that. So keeping the channels open is a smart thing too. I don't have an answer. I'll think about that. Maybe next month we can come up with something that's better.
Well, and what do you, I mean, do you want to just go back to the old language?
I don't know what the old language says.
It's what you've been working under, Greg, for 10 years on the
Yeah, I
board.
know. Yeah, I read it once in a while.
The old language is on your sheet here. It's in red. And then the new language is in green.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a hold of Sean because he's offered more than once. Here's my phone, call me up. And he's always had that option. So I think he knows that what his boss says to do, he knows that. If he gets laid out to do something underneath the president or whoever's responsible, he knows what he's got to do. And so I just don't see where we have that many major issues with regards to that.
Well, then let's just keep the original language.
Yeah.
Primary contact person.
That works.
Works. Well, here's let me dive into this just a little bit further. The trustees decide what the general board's gonna do and what we're gonna do. Projects, type 2 base, bus issues, things like that. And they then decide on what to do. The president's responsibility is to carry out, as a function of the presidency, the process that came out and the duties or whatever the board wanted to do. It is the responsibility of the president to take that on and make sure it happens. That's also something else in there that people don't understand. Just because you're president doesn't mean you get to do anything you want to do. That's not true. What happens is you get direction from your own board, you put input to the board, and then you follow through with what the board wants to do. It's just like just like any municipality. So that's what I wanted to bring out. So when somebody talks to somebody else, they can go ahead and do that, but they also understand that there is a structure for
Direction.
how things work. So it can work both ways, I think.
So let's try this. And Julie, you're talking about 1, 3, and 5, right?
Yes,
Okay.
1, 2, and 5.
1, 2.
1, 2, and 5. See, the other issue I had was in one section of the handbook, it talked about that the president is a supervisor or his designee is a supervisor. But that wasn't laced through all the sections that reference that type of relationship, right? So I wanted Kathy to make it clear in all sections that that's the case. So if you don't like single point of contact, then we'll just put primary contact
That would
and
be great.
supervisor.
That would be fine.
Works for me.
Because single is one, primary doesn't lock us into one.
Are you writing this down, Robin?
I am.
Okay, thank you.
Poor Rob.
And then,
And then I have a question on number 10. From audio recordings are to be made available to the public to actual audio recordings, not links to YouTube, Zoom, or other internet sites are to be made available to the public. YouTube are actual audio recordings, aren't they?
yeah, but
The quality's not as good, but, I've not had anybody have a problem with it. I've had them call and ask me a question.
Mhm.
Or send me an email and ask a question. And I have this recording available, but it isn't a whole lot better than the YouTube recording because it doesn't pick us up and it has a hard time picking up Angie. And so what I do is I use both recordings, to actually do the minutes because I can't do it from one.
It's hard to decipher
Yeah,
a lot of times.
yeah. And so I
On the
have
minutes.
to,
As long as you have an accurate record,
I do,
by law,
Mhm.
you're following what the law says.
I can do.
So you could do it from YouTube, or you could do it from your recordings.
Well, and what I can do is put a note on there that if you're having difficulty with YouTube video, please contact me and I can send you to the link that I have on my,
Excellent idea,
Yeah.
excellent idea.
and I'll just add that link, they can contact me.
And then since I have the 2014 handbook, on page 9 of meeting management, regular meetings, it says that we start at 5:30, and I don't know if that got changed or if that's actually in there.
I don't think it's in the new one,
Okay,
but I will make a note and send that.
Meeting times?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then on page 17, this handbook says that any new part-time or full-time, temporary or permanent positions, that's positions, must be approved by the board before the OM can proceed with hiring. So that's just positions, that's not the actual people.
You can't create a new position without having.
Right,
it
without
approved by the
us,
board.
correct.
And nobody's touched on it, but, just for Kathy's reference, what about item 4, because it's open to what you all decide.
Oh, Pledge of Allegiance, you know where I stand. I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance every day that we have a meeting.
I think if no one's saying no, it's in there and it's gonna be in the
Yeah.
first reading next month.
Okay, I'll let her know that she had a question on that.
Yeah.
Or please keep that in.
I don't think anybody has a problem with saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have a flag in here now, so.
Anything else on there anyone's got hangups with? Nope.
Nope. It's
So-
hard to figure something when you ask for.
Okay, so-
Yeah.
So bring it out in, what are you gonna bring it out in October? Coming back October?
Next month, first reading. of the completed, updated with these changes that we just discussed.
Okay.
And honestly, we'll go back to the primary, and that's fine. I don't think we need a motion on this, because we're gonna do a first reading on what we're talking about tonight,
That is
right?
correct.
Okay,
So let me make sure that I have everything correct. We're going to keep on number one, the language the same, and just make sure that we also put in primary contact, supervisor and primary contact. Add in supervisor to it.
yes. Everywhere it says primary contact, it
Add in
needs the word
supervisor.
supervisor.
And we're going to keep in the flag. And make sure that she knows at 6 p.m. is the meeting time, and then make sure that's continued. I think that's it.
You know, it's like the Constitution, it didn't require a whole lot of changes in the last 250 years, you know? Yeah.
Mhm, I agree.
And then,
I'll write all this up to Kathy. And see you in the morning.
and then Julie, based on that email, you realize some of those questions will be in the employee handbook.
Understood.
Okay, yeah. We didn't just naysay it,
Mhm.
but a lot of it's more relevant to that handbook than this one. So we won't forget about it. All right, any public comment on the update to the board handbook? Any other discussion? No,
I have one.
go ahead.
How the board functions as the community grows. We got the special plan area, we got the county going their own crazy ways, and they don't give us much communication, I don't think. The special plan area, we got subdivisions going in, we got people trying to do a subdivision through parceling. We got issues like that don't come back to the standard operating book, but we got issues that this community has yet to deal with, and everything from the water rates issues, which don't necessarily affect the roads, but they will, to floodways that will affect the roads when it does flood, to growth areas and who pays for what, and who's going to get get looked on specially, being in the one area because there's more people there than another area where you don't need to do the road but once every year or two, because you're just off in the boonies versus somebody that has houses 2.5 and 5 acre parcels and has 10 times the average daily traffic that normally occurs in this valley. And those are the types of things that have never been addressed. I have never been able to get the county to move on stuff like that. They just dodged the bullet. And they failed because they waited so long when they were collecting fees that they had to give the money back to all the property owners. Got sued on that when they went to the judge. So those things I think are somewhat important. Don't let those go, away too far, because just how we operate fine, but the issues facing the valley are somewhat different.
There's a new group. What do you call your guys? What do you call yourselves?
Oh, public comment?
Hope? Was that the new group? Hope?
Whoa. What are we doing here?
No, we're talking again. I'll go, sorry.
We gotta get back on track.
It is on this agenda item.
We gotta get back on track.
Okay.
Um,
Is that part of the agenda item?
The
Yes,
spa as part of the board member handbook, you want me to
Yeah,
put?
you're still on.
I don't
you want me
know.
to put the spa and the board member handbook?
Is it part of, I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, very good.
Board members, staff.
All right,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay, now we're gonna move on to, review and renewal of employee health benefits. And obviously, I like to spout off, and this item always makes everybody love me. So I'm gonna start with this and just give you a basic synopsis of what I see, and then you guys can talk amongst yourselves and we'll take public comment. Like I say every time, when we look at things like wages, retirement, and insurance, at a public entity, it's a package deal. You have to go into it looking like that. And you probably heard me say before, I've been on the insurance committee at my public employer for almost 20 years. And since 2010, pretty much insurance is a joke in America. That's just the way it is. I think since 2010 at my public employer, there's been 1 year where our costs were reduced and our benefits went up. 1 year in the last 15. So, if you guys are looking at this spreadsheet, the current plan's the first call. The renewal of that plan is the second call. And these are after the second call, different options. Now, last year, what we did, I believe that the employees at the GID had the very last option up until last year. And the cost went up. And so the board pulled back on that plan and we went to the current plan, right? Because last year, to renew the old plan that the employees had was about 29 and change. It went up to, so it was a pretty big increase. And I'm just telling you guys that for insurance, if you don't try to rein it in some way, we'll be paying $5,000 a month in a couple of years. That's not what we want, right? We want to have a package where our wages are good, our benefits are good, we're covering PERS increases for our employees. So you have to look at it that way. Now, I'm sure I'll be everybody's friend, but honestly, the two I would be looking at, and they're different in some way, because when you look at insurance, you have your family deductibles, your individual deductibles, those kinds of things. Then you have co-pays for certain services like specialists, all those kinds of things. So, I mean, if I was renewing, this was up to me, but I only got one vote. I was actually looking at option 3 as one option. And let me explain that option to you. It keeps the deductibles kind of close to the current plan. And it lowers some of the co-pays a little bit. And it comes with like almost a 6.5% increase. Which, I mean, in my opinion, it's still pretty high, but I mean, it is, we gotta have insurance. The other option I would look at, if it was me, is option 4. Option 4 is different in a way that the copay goes up like at $5, right? It's still a 6.72% increase, and it lowers the individual deductible and the family deductible a little bit more in line with the current plan, closer to the current plan that we have now. So, I mean, those are the two that when I was looking at this, when I saw it last week, I was looking at. But obviously, I want you guys to discuss it, throw out your ideas, concerns. We're definitely going to take public comment. And why don't we have a discussion at the board first? Go ahead, Greg.
Want me to go? All right. I was looking at these, and what I started comparing was especially the excuse me.
Hello.
What I was looking at was the out-of-pocket max and a number of different things, where at 6.44% versus 6.72%, 16,000 is the max on one, 13 on the other for a small percentage increase. 8,000 on one and 65 in a small person. It's I would look at this option 4 in terms of not having as high a cost on the total emergency things. You get, something bad happens, you want to be covered. You want to be broke. And I look at those max out of pockets. I think, except for the one option 6 over there, which is 26% increase. This one came out looking about the best on the deductibles and some of those things. So if I was gonna push for keeping it at under 7% or something, I might like the option 4 because it has lower max costs associated with it if somebody gets in a bad way. But I think there might be other issues too that we need to think about.
So to piggyback on what you said, Greg, there's 3 options that keep it below 7% increase. And that's option 3, 4, and 5. And it looks like option 4 is the best out of those.
Yeah, that's
What
why
you're
I was
talking
looking at
about.
4. You're right, Julie. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
And in all fairness, if you guys, I said it, but just to remind you that option 1 is a renewal of the current plan.
Right, at an increase of 13.23%.
Yes. And option 6 was the 2024 plan that we diminished.
Yeah, well,
Just so you, yeah. just so you
everything
guys
is
understand.
cumulative. It all, in many ways, it depends on whether an individual, okay, if I know I gotta go in for an arm surgery and this, I'm gonna look at my deductibles and go, okay, what plan is gonna work for me this year versus, because there's all kinds of different medical plans that you can,
Yeah,
look at. And,
but as an employer, we want to offer a competitive package for retention
well,
and hiring.
we
So-
did knock things down a bit last year. So just keeping with what we have on option 1 is pretty bare bones, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty, keeping what we have on option 1 is a 13, over 13%.
I do understand that, but it's just the same options that we have now.
Yeah.
So we're not gaining or losing anything. It's just, that's
Well-
what insurance costs.
Right, right. And that's why we as a board look at these costs and try to think future, how do we keep these costs as minimal, still offer healthcare without escalating to where we're off the charts in a few years. That's how I look at insurance. That's how I always look at it. And at this board, we do make it up in other ways for our employees. I mean, with the raises, covering the PERS increases, over 3% in the last 2 that we've covered as a public employer.
You like 3.
No, I mean, I'm
that's
for
what you were
3 and
saying.
4. The difference between 3 and 4 is the deductibles are similar, right? The co-pays are lower in 3, but
Not some, you look at some of them, yeah.
well,
Yes,
they're
they are.
lower than the current plan.
Okay, all
That's
right,
what I
okay,
looked at.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So
very
it
good.
comes down to lower co-pays in 1, a little higher co-pays in 1, but lower individual and family maxes out of pocket, right?
Right.
That's what I'm looking at in 3 and 4. And that's really the only reason I lean toward it. Because I'm trying to keep the cost down.
Well, and also we have to think about, okay, if United Healthcare is putting on a big thing and they are advertising heavily, maybe their prices are better this year.
I think this is United
This is
Healthcare.
all
Fantastic.
United
Yeah,
Health.
they're all
Yeah.
United Health.
The other plans were considerably more than.
And guys-
So we stuck with United Healthcare.
Go ahead, Marshall.
Well, the one thing that I look at is the individual deductible. But, you can have one person in the family get sick. And every one of those other ones are way higher. until you get way over to the platinum plant over there. But maintaining what somebody has, you know, cause they're planning their life like, now, I'm spoiled. You know, I've been covered by the military since my 17th birthday, and I will be until I die. So I hate even looking at these things, but I would prefer that our people, at least keep what they have. You know, now, is that gonna cost us a little bit more? It is, you know, but I don't wanna penalize our people for the insurance industry. I mean, I hate them. I'll be honest with you. I think the insurance companies are ruining it, and I would love to see universal health care. I mean, I would. But my opinion is, and ain't gonna change, is that we should keep him on what he has.
We didn't do that last year.
Yeah, we actually,
We-
we docked it.
Well, we docked it because of what I'm explaining, is if you keep them
If
where
you-
they're at,
if you
your
dock-
costs next year are gonna go up again.
If we docked them last year, I mean, this is what I hate. Why should people have to,
But you gotta
know,
understand,
their
Marshall,
employees, huh?
this is a package.
I
The
know.
GID's benefits,
Right.
wages, retirement is a package. So that's why I look at insurance as part of the package. Now, if we're paying, like, we have 2 employees, but if we're paying the current highest paid employee in the highest position almost $1 more than the road supervisor can make in Washoe County, we're being competitive. Now, in Washoe County, and that's the one I look at a lot, Sparks and Reno too. In Washoe County, if you go there right now as a new employee, for 2 years, you're on a high deductible health plan. Before you can even get on a PPO, which are pretty much garbage plans, you pay for everything. They're catastrophic plans. That's why I'm so geared towards reining the costs in for insurance and keeping it somewhat competitive. Go ahead.
Can I throw something in there? We have county insurance called UMR. And I'm looking at this and it is no different. Ours is 3,500, just like this, on the number 3. Once you hit that deductible, you know, it pays a lot. It pays a majority of what we do, what we've used. But that one there, I'm looking at these, what is closest to what we've got at the county, because I'm on county insurance. And they said number 3 with the copay is what we pay with the county on UMR.
So
The
for just a
deductible,
little
we pay
more.
a deductible.
For just a little more, option 4 is better because if you look at the deductibles, the individual deductible as what they have now, 500 versus 1,500, 1,000 versus 3,000, but then it goes down, 7,500 for the current plan, 6,500 for the other one. 15,000 for the current plan, 13,000 for the potential new plan. And then you look at some of the deductibles, they're only up a little bit, $5 or $10 or the same. And then you look at the prescription stuff and it's less, at least for the first one. And then the same. I'm sorry, that was X-rays. And prescriptions are the same.
I just hate to see anybody lose anything. We're doing the same work, that's all. What's the dollar difference? Let's look at that. How many dollars are we talking?
So down at the
Well,
bottom.
So the rates.
Well, if
that
you
are
look
on-
at the very bottom of the,
Yeah,
look
it'll
at the very
show-
bottom.
very bottom of it will show you.
And if you take 250, 20, 25, 50,
Hold on just a
All
second. Because these numbers are not complete, it's more for a picture now because we're gonna change it based on the census. quote, And it will be updated because we will be adding an employee and then we're gonna change the plan to that. So these are just more like to see a number and see a percentage, so
Right.
it's not exact.
well,
So-
to me, the way I look at
percentage
it,
is not
it's
going to
200,
change?
if we
Oh,
keep the
okay.
exact same plan, it's $240 more a month.
Well, it's 13.26
More, it may change dollars.
the dollar amount. will change. all age-based, but the actual percentage is. Okay, 100%.
Okay.
And then we're gonna take
Good.
the. off.
Well, and that's it. Well, and that's the other thing I didn't tell you guys too, that you should realize is to stay competitive. As far as, employees, I should have told you guys, employees are covered 100% by the district. We pay that. Dependents here at the GID are covered 25%. So the employee with the dependents is only on the hook for 25% of the premium. Now, understand that every other Reno, Sparks, Washoe, they are paying 50% for their dependents. This public entity pays 25%. Mine is 15, but all the big ones, the big dogs are 50%, and they've all moved that way now. It's a very volatile thing, this insurance. I understand that. It's very, I mean, it's not easy to deal with. But as an employer, if we just willy-nilly just move through it every year, before long, these costs are gonna bite you. And what happens, Marshall, is you get to the point where the costs are so high, you're really hurting the employees because you gotta drop it down to nothing because those costs got so high. And so what you try to do is little reduction in benefit, little increase in cost, trying to keep it as comparable as you can as the years go by. That's how I look at it. And that's what we did last year.
Well,
So-
keeping it comfortable is no different than option 1, 3, 4, 5. They're all the same to me, except when you go over to 26%. Because the worst one, the option 1, keeping what we got, is $240 more a month. And I would, 240 times 12 is.
So we have another employee too.
I know, so we're adding $5,000-$6,000 a year to costs, for total cost. But, pardon me?
Nothing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's just,
I was just
it's
saying,
an
yeah.
annual cost
Yep.
of what it takes, you know? We could have done there and put annual costs on there, but,
You have to look at percentages because you don't know the total number.
I do understand that. So we want to bring it back later, or do we want to fix it
No.
today?
This is renewed September 1st.
And
Can we-
there's another option, so there was another suggestion made by Andy, that there can be a base plan that you'll pay 100%, 75% of that base plan. And then they have a buy-up plan, and whatever the difference is, the employee pays for the difference from the
Yeah.
cost to them. So if it's $100 on the base plan and $105 on the buy-up, they pay that extra. So that is an option where you would pay.
And that's
two
pretty
plans,
standard, yeah.
And then the calculate it. That is not.
Let's take public comment. Public comment. Go ahead.
Heather Kelly for the record. That last option 5, that last option 6, that was what you guys not downgraded us last year. So I understand fully, I'm a bookkeeper by trade too. I understand the continuing to go up, but at the rate you're going, you're gonna continue to downgrade every year. Because you're gonna downgrade us now. I'm looking at option 3s and 4, and they're not terrible. But but our son is also not going to be a dependent on our insurance for next year, this coming year. He is going to be coming off. This doesn't reflect that you're not. It's just going to be spouse, Sean and spouse. But again, you just continue to downgrade. I remember we got downgraded last year. We'll get you on the next year. So I'm just kind of concerned about how that's being played out. So you keep downgrading on the insurance side and you go, but you end up not actually gaining anything. We're just status quo for however long until you start downgrading us in insurance.
Any other public comment?
Ooh.
George got excited.
It tore off completely.
I would say one thing, coming from the county, you might get a high deductible, but they also give you a credit card for $2,500 each and every year, whether you spend it or not, and you can work off of that. So health savings accounts are a different route to go to.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
And that would have to be an option for next year.
Yeah,
because
but the county,
we
the county
didn't look
gave
at
them the
that.
2,500 to play with that
Every year.
every
They just
year.
add it.
Yes. Yeah, kind of like longevity.
And so, and not that I don't appreciate the public comment, but, what was described is exactly what happens at every public entity. That's the world we live in America. And, I think this board makes it up in wages and retirement very well.
So what's your recommendation, President?
Well,
I'd
I'm
go,
just
I'd be
saying,
happy to go with the
I
current
mean,
plan.
I like option 4. That's, that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it's a 6.72% increase. And honestly, in the committees I'm in, I mean, my own employer wouldn't even go with an almost 7% increase. We usually get the plans downgraded, and we're usually a 2 or 3% increase as an organization. And that's what they do. I mean, we're kind of at a detriment at no fault to our employees because we have a small pool, and that hurts us. But I think in making that up in other ways, it makes our package intact and desirable. That's just how I see it.
What there, I don't see the difference between 4 and 1.
It's
And I just having a hard time figuring that.
your
because-
co-pays in the middle are about $10 higher for specialists, $5 higher for primary. And then your individual deductibles, family deductibles go up, 500 to 1,500, 1,000 to 3,000. But that one
Okay.
does go down, like when you get to the out-of-pocket maxes, those go down, but, so that's, and I understand the angst with downgrade, but I'm telling you, man, I live in that world. That's insurance in America. And now, if we weren't generous in other ways, I would be all for doing it on the insurance side, but because we're generous in other ways, I mean, we can't do triple whammies here. It's not sustainable. That's just my point of view.
You have a bonus at the end of the year, take it away and put it into this. That's the same money.
That's an interesting thought, you know?
We got $6,000 more.
But bonuses are decided by the board if they're agendized every December. So, I don't know, I'm at 4, but I'm 1 vote. So if somebody makes a motion, you guys motion for what you want.
I'll motion for it.
I'll second it.
For which option?
Option 4. So we have a motion and a second on option 4. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carried, yeah.
Do you want to be in opposed?
I want to vote.
Okay, Marshall's opposed, motion carried. All right, correspondence?
We received, the letter that I talked about earlier about the sea tax. And, correspondence, completion of the public works project has been out in the last month. I did an ethics seminar yesterday, and there was a certificate for it. We got the list of everything that we needed to get to the accountant, and Andy's taking my portion and her portion tomorrow. Quite a list, 6 pages, and we have all that ready for them. And that's what I have in correspondence.
Can I just bring one thing?
Yeah.
What we talked about before the meeting with the thing that you got from the bank thing, just to clue Greg in, there's something that might need to be signed about,
Just to give them
That one again, please.
the CPA
somebody to sign?
You sent me things before to sign. Come on, done it, so no issues.
Okay, so I just wanted you to get ahead. Once they figure out who needs to sign it, you might get an email.
Oh, sure.
Or I might get an
It's
email.
no, they usually come to me, secretary, treasurer, it's gotta be from that.
Okay.
It's electronic this year.
That's
Okay.
okay, we can sign it, we'll figure out how to do it.
Send you the link.
Okay, I'm not far away.
Okay, so you're aware, I didn't want you to get
No,
lost.
I've been aware of it a long time,
Okay, calendar?
We have nothing
Board member and staff items.
I have a couple, surprise, surprise. Our public talked a little bit earlier about, doing Right Hand Canyon from Whiskey Springs South. And perhaps we could put that on the agenda, to get that worked on. Our public talked about a plan to touch every road in each year and a calendar with a rotation, being proactive. I think that's a great idea. I would like to see that on the agenda so we could talk about that and actually get that in motion. Our public talked about offers to pay for either FACE or DG for Ansari to microwave, and research that and see if we have that in the resolutions, but I'd like that on the agenda. And then last month, we had public come and talk about Roadrunner and Ernie. And I was Roadrunner and Ernie.
Okay,
And I was reading our board handbook, and it said trustees who are approached by constituents requesting special road maintenance or a road improvement project shall inform the constituent that their project request must be agendized for discussion. And then our public comment says no action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. And I kind of thought that we would have that agenda item with Roadrunner and Ernie on this agenda, and it didn't appear, so I'm asking that it gets on the next agenda.
Please do.
Okay, as far as that one goes, it's basically about the easement. And I sent Carl a letter on the easement, Kathy, and I worked on a draft for that. I got to him on what the board says and what's in the handbook and what we decided in prior meetings. And so we're hoping to have that project completely done October, November, John?
November.
And then it'll come in and we'll have all of it, figure out the letter to write to each person, what we need to do, and that type of thing.
So in the meantime, we haven't been doing it right. And so don't we need to maintain these roads until we do it properly with our process?
It'll be on the agenda in November.
Thank you.
Any other board member and staff items? All right. Public comment on matters not listed on this agenda. George?
George Boyd for the record. I just got one comment. There's going to be quite a little bit of building going on in the valley. And I was wondering if the board is going to take and make sure that these people put culverts in when they build roads that access the GID road. Because I'm the only one between Calgard and Grayvan, all the rest of the roads there, nobody put any culverts in. So I think the board, I don't know whether it's the board deal or whether the building department, because I was understanding that the building department is supposed to enforce that then put culverts in. Well, if they're not doing it, then the board needs to get to them and take and tell the building department, hey, they can't build this road until they put culvert in. That's all I gotta say.
or they can't get a C of O till they get their culvert in.
Yeah.
Any other public comment?
Once again,
Deidre?
Deidre Irwin. I just want to know where we stand on doing anything on Whiskey Springs. I mean, it was talked about last October when we talked about Ivy Creek. But even the potholes didn't get all the way filled this, at the beginning of the year. Now we've had all summer long and they're worse than ever. And if we don't get them while it's hot, they're not gonna fill in right again. But it was talked about maybe, I think Sean said a slurry on it. But it's original Rockadine roads. There's never been an improvement. And then the other is Paiute Creek is just torn to hell after summer and kids being off and four-wheelers. And we got the turn. Sean came up and put fill in there and everything. And that's doing great. But the rest of the road is a mess. And it never got completed. My husband went with a pole on the back of the truck. And any branches that are hanging down are just the little teeny starter shoots. And they're at 12 feet in the air. So I don't see anything that can damage the grader windows or anything. Just want to get it done before we're.
All right.
And I apologize, I misspoke, I said Right Hand Canyon, I meant Whiskey Springs South. Try to get that on the agenda for. Sorry.
Any other public comment?
Just one.
All right.
If you don't get an answer, you lucky person. You're the boss.
I would say don't, to the public and the board, that don't hesitate to, I didn't notice, email those road requests.
Yeah, we rely tremendously on requests or people feedback because 93 miles of road is sometimes in the summertime can go bad real fast. And I've seen that this summer. It's so dry. That appreciate your patience.
Well, my main thing with from Right Hand Canyon to the end of Whiskey Springs is it's a level one road. And it's never been resurfaced in any way. Like I said, it's original Rockadine roads. I've been out there since '76 and know for a fact.
I don't think we can afford to repave some of the old Rockadine
Hold on,
roads.
it's public comment, public comment.
Oh, that's right.
Public comment.
I'm
Any
not
other
saying
public comment?
Thank you,
this
thank you,
fits
John.
with that.
No other public comment? All right, adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn at 7:33.
No, one second, watch out.
All in favor?